Hi, thank you so much for joining me today for this webinar, Building a Case for Support, Preparing Your Organization to Expand Your Reach of Potential Donors. This webinar will be beneficial to startup organizations, nonprofits, or those just looking to expand their reach of potential donors. The content will challenge your organization to think about how you are perceived outwardly, the best practices to help establish core messaging used for written and verbal communications, as well as demonstrating your impact and sustainability. You will begin to consider what sets your organization apart from your competition and how you can develop messaging to leverage this insight to your advantage. By the end, you will have a multitude of specific questions to begin developing a thorough and concise case for support. My name is Jane Hoffman. I am a master's student at Georgetown University in Public Relations and Corporate Communications and a cause consultant through the Center for Social Impact Communications at Georgetown. The objectives today are designed to get you started thinking. This webinar is only about 15 minutes, so here is what we will be covering. Defining what a case for support is, understanding the elements of a compelling case. We'll spend the majority of time here going through each of these with examples and recommendations. Initiating a strategy, begin defining an audience, ensure project sustainability and communicating effectively to potential donors, as well as to demonstrate and evaluate the impact being made. So right now, you are hopefully thinking, I have the passion, I have the credibility, I am legally established, but now what? If those are your questions, it is time to build your case for support, and that is what we are here to do. So what is a case for support? Why do I need one? Am I ready? In the end, we all want the same things for our organization. We want them to act or do something. That means raising awareness, building relationships, or getting people to act or donate. You cannot raise money if no one knows your organization exists, which is why a case for support is so essential. It is needed so people know about your organization. It is your core document, the consistent messaging used in all your written and verbal communications. It is essential to communicating clearly and concisely to a potential funder about what problem you are addressing and why your initiative deserves support. The key factor of building a compelling case is simple messaging that is clear, concise, and motivating. I cannot stress this enough. Clear, concise, and motivating. United Way has a great example of this. One sentence to explain their vision, mission, and goals of the organization. And their final sentence is motivating. Our goals are ambitious, but with your help, we can achieve them. Within our organizations, we all use a lot of jargon and acronyms, and many times we do not even notice. It is unconscious. But it is important when developing our case for support to not use acronyms and jargons. And if we do, they need to be explained. So, elements of a compelling case. Here are the questions to consider to develop a compelling case, and we're going to answer each of them. What is the problem? Why you? Why now? What are you going to do? How much do you need? Who are you trying to reach? And is your project sustainable? So why you? What makes your organization the best to carry out your goal? Is your staff and board experts in the field? Do you have past successes to showcase? Use your competition to your advantage. If there are similar organizations, identify how your work is different or complementary and ensure that you are not duplicating. The ultimate goal is to get people to care about your organization. Once you have people who care about your purpose, they will want to know more. Why now? Why is your activity crucial? What are the opportunities or threats which make your activity needed to happen now rather than in the future? What you want to avoid is the I'll donate tomorrow attitude. An example I have for you is Build a Rescue Boat from globalgiving.com. While describing their issue, they say that the Philippines is one of the world's most disaster-prone countries. In an average year, it is affected by more than 20 typhoons, and the number is rising. If people are not prepared or rescued, they will lose lives. They show that the threat is happening now, and if people do not act, lives will be lost. What do you want to do? What you hope to achieve matters. This response needs to be specific. The impact you have, that we'll discuss in just a bit, can be used here to explain your result and give it a sense of scale. You must identify what your objectives are to reach this outcome and communicate them thoroughly. Let's talk about this in a bit more detail. Global Giving's website, here you can see it on the right, does a great job with showcasing their results. This is a screenshot at the top of every page of their website to remind their donors and potential donors the impact they've made. On the left, you see Tobacco Free Florida, how they give their audience a sense of scale. They showcase how much money it costs to smoke over 6 months to 20 years, which is very effective messaging. Who are you talking to? There are so many opportunities to ensure your potential donors know about your organization, the work you do, and your successes. But in order to do this, you need to know your audience, who you're targeting. Knowing who you're targeting for support is essential in any field, especially when you're trying to gain prospective donors. There are so many causes for people to donate to, so think about who will feel compelled to donate to yours. It is essential to demonstrate sustainability. You need to demonstrate that their donation has sustainable value. Before a donor will want to make a long-term commitment to supporting your organization, they must believe not only what you've done to address the problem in the past, but also on your plans for the future and how you plan to sustain what they're supporting. Communicate your vision. Describe how you plan to improve upon currently offered services. Show how their continued support will make a difference. For this example, I'll utilize a nonprofit who's just getting started, Tiva Water. Through their website and social media alone, they use very effective messaging that demonstrates the sustainability of their organization. They're employing locals in the communities they're serving to distribute in-home water filters throughout the developing world. They discuss what other organizations are doing, who could be seen as their competition, with water, and how they're working with them to make sure filtered water is sustainable and that they are different, that they're doing something different. For more examples of demonstrating sustainability, I truly encourage you to check out Tiva Water. How much do you need? Knowing how much money you need is essential for evaluating your effectiveness and measuring your goal. When targeting a specific funder, tell them what their money will be contributing to and the outcome of their dollar. Here we have an example of Tiva Water and the Smile Train. In the Tiva Water example on the left, we know simply $100 will buy a filter for a family in need, and one filter affects 5 to 15 people. Great. The Smile Train. They utilize extremely effective imaging to get their point across, to showcase how much they need. And it says, how often do you get the chance to save a child's life for $250? There are multiple ways to showcase what funders will be contributing to. Two of my favorites are through storytelling and an empirical approach. If you can utilize both, then that is great because not everyone relates to each one. So let's talk about both of them. The Children's National Medical Center is a great resource for storytelling. They have a whole page on their website just for their stories. You can click through tons of them, and each one will bring you to its own page of a story. The other option is through an empirical approach. When done right, this way is very effective and displays evidence very simply. The key, however, is to keep it simple with graphs and charts, and do not overload with lots of figures or numbers, things that people can't relate to or understand. I like to utilize the rule of 3, which is 3 key points. The example here is UNICEF's Believe in Zero campaign, and they do a great job with utilizing 3 points. You can see the beginning sentence in gray at the top, and then there are 2 charts below. Demonstrating your impact. A powerful way to compel your donors is through demonstrating your impact. Show that their dollar will have a far reach and you have the evidence to prove it. There are tons of ways to do this, but a few I believe are very effective are through outputs, which could include impressive numbers about your event attendees, user satisfaction, such as quoting a compelling thank you, or outcomes, what changes have produced as a result of your efforts. Below you have Children's National. It's a story to demonstrate their outcome or in user satisfaction, as well as Wolf Trap on the right shows how their contributors exactly what their funds are supporting, and donors can explore each program on the website. Maintaining your case is extremely important. Your case is organic. You want to maintain and update your case as your organization evolves. A successful case for support answers prospective donors' questions before they are asked. This is crucial to keeping a competitive edge. What do I mean by this? Think of it kind of like your personal resume. You update as you go through your career and target specifically to each prospect who reviews it. And last is the importance of evaluation. I know it is last, but it cannot be forgotten. How will you evaluate yourself to know if you have been effective? Remember, physical donations are not the only form of measure. How will you show others your evaluation? I have a challenge for you. Test if you are on the right track by giving your materials to an outside perspective for review. Someone who does not know anything about your organization should read through one or multiple of your materials, such as the brochure, homepage of your website, any social media. Can they identify easily the questions proposed throughout this webinar? If they can, great, you're on the right track. But if not, take time to go back through and start the conversation with your team. Let's do a quick review. Today, we've defined a case for support. We know it's our organization's core document. And the key factor is simple messaging that is clear, concise, and also motivating. The elements of a compelling case answers these questions. What is the problem? Why you? Why now? What do you propose to do? How much is needed? Who is your audience? You also want to demonstrate sustainability. Communicate your vision. How will their support make a difference? And also demonstrate your impact through examples such as outputs, user satisfaction, or outcomes. And maintain your case as your organization evolves. Your case is organic and should always be changing with you. And take time to evaluate yourself. Test my challenge. See if you're on the right track. With these questions and new insights, communicate with your organization to begin answering these to develop a thorough and concise case for support each of your team members can use to establish and execute a strategic message to reach and gain support from your potential donors. Set aside time to begin the conversation. From there, you will be on your way to gain leverage with your audience of potential donors, utilizing a sustainable strategy to build your case for support. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions about what we have discussed, please feel free to email me personally. I look forward to hearing you with the email I have on the screen for you. Again, thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you.